Hello, good afternoon. This is David Soto talking to you. Today is my weekly trade predictions for the upcoming trading week of July 22nd through July 26th. Okay, and in order to give my trade predictions, I'm going to go over this past week's uh, market and see what the market has done for all the major currency pairs. And then I'm going to look at all the different higher time frames like the 4 hour, daily, and weekly, and then kind of give my analysis on what I think the market is going to be doing this coming week. Okay, so to begin with, I want to go over Euro USD. Okay, and using a 15-minute chart, and the past week we see that Euro USD right here has pretty much moved in a flat range in motion. Okay, there's really no new trends that have developed. We see the price come down and back up again and back down to where it almost was to begin with. Okay, so it's back down to this low point, and it looks like it's probably going to be going up. Now, in order to confirm this, we need to look at a 4 hour, a daily, and a weekly. All right, the weekly has an up arrow here. So long term, this is definitely going to be going up. Okay, the daily has the up arrow but no down arrow yet. So this was a level of support down here, and it has come back down. It formed another level of support in here. So we see the price has dropped back down to this level of support that it's hit several times. So more than likely, this will definitely be going up. Even on the 4 hour chart, we have an up arrow here, but no up arrow here. But if we go to the 1 hour, probably 30-minute, we'll see a up arrow. There we go, right there. So we see a series of blue up arrows right here. So this indicates that yes, this will be going up this week. Okay, so for long term, I would probably buy and hold. Okay, if I shift the chart over, we see that we're at this. I'm going to draw right here this level of support. Okay, it already hit this level and it's bounced back up some. So long term, this is definitely going to be going up. All right, and probably back up to this level here. We can mark this as a resistance and mark this as a range. So we can guesstimate that yes, this will be going back up to this level. I cannot say for sure if it would go this far in 1 week, but that is like 2,000 pips or points in 1 week. Okay, so that's a huge movement, and typically in 1 week you will see the price move maybe 1,000 points. Okay, so more than likely it'll probably go up halfway and then come back down again and then continue up again. So this week it's going to go up, probably towards the end of the week come back down again, and then going on the next week will go up even further. Okay, so long term you definitely want to be buying, so look for buy opportunities. And then moving on to pound USD, Great British Pound USD right here, we see that the market started up here and ended pretty much right where it started. Okay, we had a long drop, and then the market came back up and it's starting to come back down again. Right now, according to the 15-minute chart, we have an up arrow, but let's look at some of the higher time frames like the 4 hour, daily. We have an up arrow, and weekly we have up arrow. So this indicates again that long term Great British Pound USD will definitely be going up. Okay, so even the monthly, which I don't like to use the monthly so much to determine trends, but even the monthly has a blue arrow here. So long term, this definitely will be going up. Okay, so that's my predictions for the week. Definitely be looking for buy opportunities, and you can hold for long term. I probably would, I probably would be buying long term. The 4 hour chart right now has this drop. If you go to the 1 hour, you see that we had a drop right here. We have a 1 hour chart. So it's very difficult to say if it's going to drop some more. I think it probably will drop a little bit more and then form a blue arrow, probably back down to the same level this blue arrow was at, which is, if I mark it, it's right here. Okay, so in the beginning of the week, more than likely it will drop down, back down to this level, but then continue up more for the rest of the week. Okay, and if you go to the daily, you see it hit this level right here. So I already marked it. So we can predict that this will be coming down in the beginning of the week and then head back up. If I draw a trend line like this, we see that we have you know, a nice downtrend right here, right? And when this is probably come back down, hit this, and then finally break out. So in the beginning of the week, this will drop, and then it'll break this trend. Once it breaks this trend line, you are good for a long-term buy. Okay, and you probably could hold it for a couple of weeks and make a lot of profit. Okay, so moving on to Australian dollar, US dollar, kind of see the same thing. This is where it began, this is where it ended, right back at the same spike. It dropped and came back up, and looks like right now it's going to be going up. And if we look at the 4 hour chart, we have a down arrow right here. Okay, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's in a downtrend. Okay, according to the daily, this is going up, and the weekly also, this is going up. Okay, so long term, the Australian dollar, US dollar will be going up. Okay, so I will be looking for buy opportunities only. Okay, if we look at the 4 hour, right now we have a down arrow, so we can predict that this probably will drop even more. Okay, but how far it will drop is debatable. But if we draw a trend line like this, okay, I only have this point and this point. I only have 2 points, so really I need 3 points to make a strong trend line, make a strong uptrend. So I would be looking in the beginning of the week for this to drop, probably touch this trend line somewhere in here, this range, around the middle of the week. Okay, if I draw, this is a support level right here. Okay, and where this support level crosses this trend line, forms like an X. Okay, I call this X marks the spot, and more than likely that is where the price is going to drop and hit and then bounce back up again. Okay, I cannot say 100% certain, but based on the 4 hour chart, I see this dropping, and then sometime around Wednesday, maybe Thursday, this is going to bounce and go back up, and then going on into next week, we can predict that this will be going up much higher. Okay, so long term, this is definitely going to be going up. I would probably be looking for buy trades only. Moving on to New Zealand dollar, US dollar, we see something a little bit different, but it started down here at the beginning of the week and ended up here. So it dropped some and then carried on up. Now the question is, will it continue to keep going up? Okay, and if we look at the 4 hour, you see kind of the same fashion as Australian dollar, US dollar. It wants to go down right now, according to the 4 hour. But the daily is showing still in an uptrend, right? Has an up arrow, and the weekly also. So long term, this is definitely going to be going up. Okay, so this week we can expect this to drop. Okay, and I'm going to do the exact same thing that I just did. Okay, if you draw a uptrend here, we have this point and this point, but we want to look for the price to drop somewhere in here, and I could draw there's a support line right here. Okay, that possibly this will go to. Okay, and then probably across here, or yeah, maybe. It's difficult to say. That's probably a little too low. But if I look at this right here is the next level. This is every level of resistance that was broken. So more than likely, this is now a level of support. Okay, so we can predict the price to come down here, or maybe a little lower. I don't know 100% certain where it will go, but it's going to hit this trend line and bounce back up. So the key is here, wait for a buy opportunity. Okay, here on the 4-hour or 1-hour chart. If you look at the 1-hour chart, we can say yes, this is definitely coming down, and you can catch some pips on the way down. There's no problem with that. But I like to look at the long-term trend and say that, okay, this is in an uptrend still, okay, long-term. So on the smaller time frames, like the 1 hour, even 30-minute, I want to try and look for buy opportunities, okay. We see here on the 30-minute, we had some sell signals and some buy, but overall the price was going up, right? So that is definitely the pattern that is forming, is an uptrend for New Zealand dollar, US dollar, okay? So look for buy opportunities only. And then moving on to US dollar, Swiss franc, we see that it's pretty much in a flat range of motion, pretty much ended where it left off at the beginning of the week. It came up, down, back up slightly, and it's right back down to this level, okay? So on Friday, it was moving pretty much in a flat range of motion, very little movement on Friday. Now the question is it going to go up or down? It's very, very difficult to tell because the US dollar is very stubborn, okay? And the past couple weeks, it's been wanting to go down. It's been fighting down, but it's also fighting back up at the same time. So we would catch this range in motion. And if we look at the daily chart, we have this up arrow here, okay? It came up and then back down again. If you look at the weekly, we only have a down arrow. Let me shift the chart so you can see this better. We only have a down arrow. If we look at the monthly, we only have a down arrow here, okay? No up arrow yet. So long term, this will be dropping. But the US dollar is still the strongest currency in the world. So it's not going to go down without a fight. I promise you that. Okay. So I would be looking for sell opportunities only. But the nice thing is, when it's in a flat range of motion, like it's been doing, both buy and sell opportunities are great. Okay. So if you look at the 1 hour chart, you see some pretty good buy and sell opportunities, right? Even like right now on the 1 hour chart, it's getting ready to go back up. But it's going to be not too much of a gain, because if you look at the 4 hour, we have a down arrow here, right? And I probably could draw, I know this is not perfect, but maybe if I draw like this, I could say that this is a downtrend, right? And the 1 hour is showing up. So this will most likely come back up towards this trend line, this downtrend, and come back up. I would probably wait for a sell opportunity on the 1 hour and follow this trend, because there is no up arrow on the 4 hour chart. So in the beginning of the week, Monday and Tuesday probably, you're going to see this price come back up to this trend line, and then around Tuesday or Wednesday, you're going to see this price drop a lot more, and it's probably going to drop back down to this level here. Okay, oops, what did I draw? Let me draw horizontal line. So I can't not go any further. All right, so this is forming a wedge pattern, right? So we see the price come back up this week and then slowly come back down towards this support level down here. I don't know how far it will drop, but it will definitely be dropping this week. More towards the later end of the week, but we can expect this to be dropping most definitely. Okay. If you look at the daily, okay, this is a little bit different here. We see a nice, beautiful downtrend right here, okay, and a strong level of support right here. So this is what's called a falling wedge pattern, and the price, like I said, was going to shoot back up, touch this trend line, and come back down to this level. Maybe it will form another up arrow on the daily. At least it will on the 4 hour, which will be probably somewhere around here. Okay, it'll form an up arrow, and then eventually it's going to break out and form a new uptrend. Okay, but that's going to be, you know, probably another week or so before it even starts to form a new uptrend. So for this week, going into next week, you want to look for sell opportunities. Okay. Now moving on to USDJPY, we see pretty much the same thing, kind of the opposite effect, but the price ended almost where it started, and the price had come up and then down and back up to where it started again. And then if we look at the higher time frames, let me shift the chart a little bit. Look at the 4 hour, it wants to go up, the daily wants to go up, and the weekly wants to go up. So long term, this is going to be going up. And the US dollar, Japanese yen typically has an adverse or opposite effect of what the US dollar Swiss franc has. Okay, so this is why I show you the USD CHF first, and then I compare it to the USD JPY. Typically, not always, but typically this USD JPY follows the opposite movement. If USD CHF is going to be going down, you should expect USD JPY to be going up. Okay, and that's kind of what we see here. Okay, on the 4 hour chart, I want to point this out real quick. We see a downtrend formed right here, okay, and the price come up, touch that, and come back down again. If we go to the 1 hour, well, there's no arrow there, but maybe 30 minute. Oh wow, 15 minute. We have a down arrow right there. Okay, so we have a series of points right here that have formed this nice slope going down. Now what we're waiting on, if we look at the higher time frames like the 4 hour, what we're waiting for is the price to break this trend line by at least 100 points. And once that happens, then you can buy. Okay, and if we mark this level of support right here on this blue arrow, okay, we see what's called a falling wedge pattern. Okay, this forms like a wedge right here. So the price right now looks like it's going to drop, and it might more than likely come back down to the support level and then bounce back up again and break. Once it breaks this trend line, then you're good for a buy long term. Okay, so watch on Monday going into Tuesday for this to drop, and then Tuesday going into Wednesday, you should see this bounce back up again, and then going into Thursday, Friday towards the end of the week, we should see a breakout, and then going into next week, we will see a long-term uptrend for this pair. Okay, now moving on to USD CAD, US dollar Canadian dollar. See a similar fashion. The price ended here pretty much where it began, right? So it's in a range of motion, a flat range of motion. The price had gone up and down a bunch of times, so that's excellent really for buying and selling. If you go to the 1 hour chart, you could get some good buy and sell opportunities, okay? Even the 30-minute, okay? You have some good movement here. And I like a ranging market. That is an excellent time to trade because you have a lot of buy and sell, both different trade opportunities that you can catch, okay? The thing is, eventually, there's going to be a breakout and there's going to be a new trend that will develop. I don't know if uptrend or downtrend, but you can look at some higher time frames like the 4 hour and daily to kind of get an estimate of what you think is going to happen. So according to this 4 hour, it looks like it's going to go up, right? The daily and not the weekly. Okay, so the daily is showing it's going to go up, but the weekly is showing it's going to go down. So we can say that excuse me, in the short term, this will be going up. Okay, so but this will not be going up too far, I don't think. If we look here, I want to draw a downtrend, okay? I'm going to mark these 2 points right here. Typically, you have to have 3 points to make a downtrend. And right now we don't have 3 points. So wait for this to hit this trend line. If it breaks, then you're good for a buy. Okay? More than likely, since we don't have no up arrow here on a weekly, what I think is going to happen is the price is going to go up at the beginning of the week, touch this trend line, and it's going to drop even further. Because the US dollar is and has been trying to go into a downtrend. And the Canadian dollar has been weakened also, so they're both kind of weak. But the Canadian dollar is fighting back a little bit harder than the US dollar. Okay? So it's a rat race between these two. And more than likely, we're probably going to see a continuation of this range in motion, because the price is going to come back up and shoot back down again. Okay? So in the beginning of the week, Monday you might see the price drop a little bit, but then it's going to shoot back up. Just kind of looking at some of these time frames here. Monday, the price will probably drop a little bit and then shoot back up. And it's definitely going to go back up to this trend line, and then probably going in towards like around Thursday, end of Wednesday, beginning of Thursday, we can see this trend line get hit and the price drop again. And it's going to keep on dropping. Okay? I really do not expect this trend line to be broken and a new uptrend to form. But you definitely want to keep an eye out to make sure if this trend line is broken or not, according to the 4 hour chart. Okay? The daily is showing going to go up, but like I said, the market is really weak right now, really bearish, and long term it's going to be going down. So expect this to go up some this week, touch, and come back down even further. Okay, I would not expect a long-term uptrend, not right now anyways. Okay, so anyhow, that's my trade predictions for this week for all the major currency pairs. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments. You can do this by contacting me on Facebook. There is a link below in the description of this video for my personal Facebook. Okay, also there is a link for my private Facebook group. If you have not joined my Facebook group, please do so. And this way you can post any questions or comments in my Facebook group, and you can collaborate with other people in my group and share your thoughts and ideas as well. And I also would like to hear from you to see what your predictions are, so we can compare notes, and maybe there's something I missed that you'd like to bring up. Okay, so please do contact me if you have any questions or comments, and I would be more than happy to discuss this with you. Okay, so thank you, and I hope you have a prosperous week ahead. Thank you.